let's actually talk about what's exactly happening when you talk about the tractor segment, given the fact that, yes, the IMD has predicted that we are going to see above normal monsoon. But what does it mean for the entire space? We have Anuj Sethi, who is the Senior Director at CRISIL Ratings, joining us right now. A very good morning to you, Anuj. Thank you so much for joining us in ET Now. And let's talk about the tractor segment in particular, because it's known for its cyclical nature and it has actually seen a lot of ups and downs. What actually gives you the confidence that this year could be a record-breaking one for the industry? Is it because only pertaining to what exactly is going to happen with the monsoon, or do you think the tax bonanza has a huge role to play in this?
Yeah, so we're expecting the domestic tractor volumes to grow by about 3 to 5% this fiscal, after we saw about 7% growth last fiscal. And if we look at the performance last fiscal, the volume growth was predominantly in the second half due to better monsoon and increase in the MSP of key crops. We expect a similar trend this year as well. And like rightly pointed out, IMD forecast an above normal monsoon for the second year running, which we believe will lift rural sentiment and reinforce the confidence of farmers. We also expect there'll be some increase in MSPs of key crops. The tax breaks which are there are not really likely to benefit the tractor sector. That's more an urban sort of phenomenon. Another factor we expect is some pickup from the commercial demand also, which roughly accounts for 20-25% of the tractor demand. This is because of pickup in construction activity, especially roads, given the sizable government allocation in the union budget, which went by.
All right. Hi, good morning, Mr. Sethi. This is Shrishti also joining in. Since the outlook on the tractor industry is expected to be positive, so is it expected growth in the tractor demand likely to be concentrated in a specific regions, or are you looking at a more broad-based recovery across India?
See, if we look at the geographic profile of tractor consumption, about 75% is consumed in the western and northern regions. We believe there is scope for volume addition largely in the western region, parts of Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, largely these two states. Gujarat is highly penetrated as it is. And the northern states, it will be more of a replacement demand because all the northern states are highly penetrated in terms of tractors. Same is the case with the southern markets, especially Andhra and Tamil Nadu. The southern region accounts for roughly about 15% of tractor demand. These two states also already have a decent amount of penetration and be more of the replacement demand. The last region is the eastern region, which accounts for about 10% of the demand. There we see a sort of flattish growth only. So we can infer that the main demand will come from the western region and some amount of replacement demand from northern and southern.
All right, Mr. Sethi, now with the implementation of TREM V emission norms that are expected to happen within the next 1 year, how do you see this impacting the tractor volumes and the pricing trend?
Yeah, just to go back, when the TREM IV norms were introduced for greater than 51 horsepower tractors, we saw a 10 to 15% increase in the price of the greater than 51 horsepower tractors. And we saw migration of tractors from that segment to the 41 to 50 sort of tractor segment. And before the TREM IV norms came in, the greater than 51 horsepower segment used to account for about 9 to 10% of overall demand. That went down to about 2%. And the 41 to 50 segment saw the share going up to almost 10%. Now with the TREM V norms expected to come in from next year, we expect the 41 to 50%, 41 to 50 horsepower tractor segment will see a lesser increase in price because it's migrating from 4 to 5. Whereas the lower segments, they are migrating from 3 to 5, TREM 3 to TREM 5. They will see a higher price increase. And therefore, you could see some pre-buying happening as well towards the end of this fiscal, which can bump up the forecast what we have of 3 to 5% by a few percentage more.
Anuj, for the imposition of tariffs and trade restrictions in certain markets, could this really dampen growth prospects for Indian tractor exports, you think, by any chance, even if it be in the near term?
See, if you look at the exports to US, they're not very significant. Tractor exports are approximately a lakh units a year overall. and the US is somewhere in the region of 10 to 15%. So it's not a very significant number. And there are just one or two players who are exporting mainly to the US. So we don't expect too much of an impact on the tariffs because of the tariffs, yeah.
Sure. There's also been increased chatter about electrification across mobility segments. Tell me, what's the realistic timeline for the tractor industry to try and pivot this meaningfully towards electric, or do you think it's still a distant dream?
It is still a distant dream, I would say, because typically, the charging infrastructure, etc., in the rural area, that still needs to be set up. Secondly, where you may see electrification in tractors happening is in the initial activities, which is weeding and initial plowing of seeds, etc. But thereafter, you may not see the use of tractors in farming, until there is significant electrification of the higher horsepower tractors as well. So it's likely to come in the lower horsepower tractors first, but these will be for preliminary sort of activities, largely pre-planting and getting the field ready, etc.
Sethi, we let you go on that note. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us and helping us your outlook for the tractor industry, what's shaping up and how is that likely to move. But taking a look at the markets is